Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the epic, cinematic survival story of what is arguably the ultimate wildlife underdog, the honey badger. If you've ever found yourself deep in a rabbit hole of viral wildlife clips, you've definitely seen this absolute legend in action. We're going to look closely at the fearless survival of badgers and see what it actually takes to make it in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth, not just by scraping by, but by literally charging headfirst into danger.
Picture this. We're deep in the harsh, dust-filled African wilderness. The golden sunset is casting these long, dramatic shadows across the savanna. It's quiet, but it's that heavy, dangerous kind of quiet, you know? Out here, amidst the dry brush, one animal stands completely apart. It's small, it's solitary, and incredibly, it fears absolutely nothing. We're plunging right into an environment where every single rustle in the grass could be game over.
And look, we aren't talking about foraging for a few berries here. As our source material highlights, the core of the honey badger's entire existence boils down to surviving against deadly predators. It's just a constant, unyielding battle. Every single day is an intense, life-or-death survival situation.
Section 1. The Fearless Honey Badger. For this creature, the word fearless isn't just some catchy internet buzzword or a bad attitude. It's an absolute biological necessity. It means possessing the intelligence and courage to face intense survival moments in the wild without backing down. In high-end documentaries, this is exactly the trait that turns a random animal encounter into an unforgettable story of pure grit.
Section 2. Facing deadly predators.
I mean, just look at this deadly lineup. We are talking about the apex predators of the savanna. You've got lions who hunt in massive, highly strategic prides. You have highly venomous snakes that can drop an animal 10 times their size with just one strike. Then there are the scavenging hyenas with their bone-crushing bite forces and stealthy, powerful leopards. The fact that the honey badger routinely goes toe-to-toe with these absolute giants creates incredible tension.
So when you look at the matchup, it's a staggering physical mismatch. On one side, you have the honey badger. Small, fearless, and hyper-focused on adaptation. And standing in its way, predators that are massive, deadly, and sitting comfortably at the very top of the food chain. We naturally root for the underdog, especially one that completely ignores the fact that it's supposed to lose based on size alone.
Section 3. Intelligence, courage, and adaptation.
Let's break down exactly how they pull this off. First, they leverage their intelligence to quickly assess the threat. They don't just blindly attack, they find a weak point. Second, when something like a leopard lunges, they harness raw courage to actually stand their ground and snap back with terrifying ferocity. And third, they utilize rapid adaptation to outlast the predator. They have this famously loose, incredibly thick skin, meaning they can literally twist around within a predator's jaws to counterattack. It is a highly calculated, dynamic combat strategy.
Because ultimately, adaptation is the ultimate weapon in the wild. The honey badger doesn't have the heavy musculature of a lion or the speed of a cheetah. Its ultimate weapon is pure grit and the physical ability to adapt on the fly when facing impossible odds. It's a pretty massive lesson in resilience.
Section 4. Capturing the epic atmosphere.
Now, to translate this messy, chaotic biological reality into high art, filmmakers use some amazing cinematic storytelling techniques. Fast, unpredictable animal movements are shown in slow-motion action sequences so we catch every single detail. That harsh, dirty environment gets framed as stunning, dust-filled landscapes shot in 4K HDR. The setting sun becomes that perfectly framed golden sunset lighting, and the badger's dense, protective coat is captured with ultra-realistic fur details.
And to elevate that suspense even further, creators rely on a very specific toolkit. They'll use sweeping aerial drone shots for scale to show you just how incredibly small the badger is compared to the vast savanna. They use dramatic close-up shots to capture the ferocity in its eyes. Layer in some immersive nature sounds like a leopard's low growl or a snake's hiss. Add some dramatic lighting, and suddenly you are right there in the dust with them, totally on the edge of your seat.
All of this leads us to one pretty undeniable reality. True survival in the wild requires facing your giants head-on. The honey badger doesn't negotiate, and it certainly doesn't cower. It looks a 400-pound lion right in the eye and holds its ground. That is the entire ethos of this animal, distilled down into one punchy fact of nature.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today.
What can the fearless honey badger teach us about facing our own giants? When the odds are massively stacked against you and your environment feels incredibly hostile, remember the intelligence, courage, and adaptation of the ultimate underdog. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into the African savanna. Keep adapting and stay fearless.